All right, happy Thursday. I am Jessie with Grow Nebraska. Welcome to July's third Thursday training with Dave Meyer. I'll let Dave introduce himself here shortly, but in the meantime, I have just a couple of housekeeping items for you all. So go ahead and mark your calendar for next year's Marketech Conference. If you were fortunate enough to be at this year's Marketech Conference, you'll know exactly why we're telling people to get registered now. We will more than likely sell out this year, so get it on your calendar for April 15th, 2020. Also, we want you guys to sign up for the state fair. At the state fair, your product is showcased for all 11 days. Grow Nebraska will run the store, and your product is restocked as needed. There is still time to sign up, so you can register at Grow Nebraska's website under the Members tab and select Member Opportunities, and that state fair dates are right there below for you. Friday, August 23rd through Monday, September 2nd. And today's training is brought to you in part by REAP. REAP is a huge supporter of Grow, and we really appreciate their partnership. They offer lots of services such as financing, microloans, business training such as QuickBooks, networking, and so much more. Also, this month's featured member, sorry I have the wrong month up there, but it's July's 2019's featured member, is Apex Informatics. Apex provides innovative information technology, staffing, and consulting solutions that help clients achieve their business objectives. It's their goal to ensure that you will spend less time on day-to-day operations by maximizing your company efficiency, market share, and business expansion possibilities. For more information, visit their website at www.apexinformatics.com. That link is also on the screen for you guys. And they have been a proud Grow Nebraska member since 2018, so awesome. So now it's time for the man of the hour. I'm going to go ahead and let Dave share his screen now. While he is doing that, this is a casual webinar. So if you have any questions while Dave is presenting, please raise your hand or chat directly to me or the group, and we'll get it answered as Dave is discussing his topic. We'll also have a Q&A time at the end, so go ahead and send in your questions. Dave, I'll let you go ahead and take it away, and please just give us a brief introduction before you get rolling. Oh, I'll unmute you. There you go.
Perfect. Hey, everybody. How are you? It's so great to hang out with you on this wonderful July day. Jesse, I'm assuming you can hear me now?
Yep, perfect.
Perfect. Good. And screen share looks good?
Perfect. Yep.
All right. Wonderful. Well, hello, everyone. And for everyone that I've met at Grow Nebraska before, so good to see you again. I am Dave Meyer, and I own a business called BizzyWeb. We are a growth marketing agency located out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. And I am also a speaker and trainer for Google, and that's the capacity that I joined the Grow Nebraska. I think this is going to be our third event that I've done with the Grow Nebraska team, so thank you all for your partnership. But I travel the country on behalf of Google and on behalf of BizzyWeb to share marketing tips, ideas, and how to grow your business to keep accelerating and to help you grow. So perfect fit, and today I'd love to chat through with you the funnel and how the funnel is really changing as a metaphor in marketing. And so I wanted to switch that conversation over to a flywheel. And the difference between a funnel and a flywheel will become clear, but in summary, we are thinking less about a customer as an output at the end of the conversation and more about how you need to continually re-engage your customers and your best promoters to keep business coming in without you having to do everything all the time. Here is a little bit about us, and here's me, of course, and I think you can see me on the screen share. I'm going to stop sharing in just a moment for my video so that I don't take up your screen as we're presenting. But of course, if you do have questions during today's event, you're welcome to use the chat feature to ask those questions, and I'll make sure to answer those in turn as we go through. You can get to the chat feature by hitting more and then going into chat inside of the Zoom conference window. All right, so very briefly, BizzyWeb is a digital and growth marketing agency located in Minneapolis, as I said before. We are Google partners. We are HubSpot Gold certified partners, which means that we are in the top 1% of HubSpot partners, helping grow and build with inbound marketing for our clients, new ways to generate information, to generate interest, and to generate buzz for our clients. The idea of inbound and the idea of growth marketing in general is to be as useful as possible to your customers instead of trying to broadcast out. And that's kind of where the flywheel comes in. So today I'm going to talk through with you the idea of the marketing flywheel and how the funnel and the flywheel differ inside of the conversation. So as you look at what's happening inside of marketing, it's more important than ever to continually re-engage your customers than anything else in business. So we're going to show you some great ways to measure that interaction, to idealize and how to set a plan to keep driving new business and to make the business that comes into you easier as a general rule by not focusing on the customer as an endpoint that should be forgotten after they've signed on the dotted line with you. And then we're going to show you how to measure your flywheel for improvement. And inside of doing that, there are two big things that you need to do in order to keep growing and to keep your flywheel moving. And that's to maximize delight, make sure that your customers are as happy as possible and willing to share, and then reducing friction, meaning stopping the things that are going to stop your customers from recommending you or your prospects from visiting again. So that's basically what we're going to talk through today. So first, our funnel. We're going to go through, and what you need to understand is that it's never been harder for marketers and for salespeople to build trust. And so if you look down on our little screen here, marketers and salespeople are just above politicians. So we're doing pretty well inside of that space, but we're underneath baristas. And so if you're in marketing, people trust you less than the person that misspelled your name at Starbucks yesterday. So we need to think more about how we can engage and how we can help first versus trying to sell. And that's really where people get into trouble with the funnel as a metaphor for marketing. You think about it as a data point, and as soon as you get the customer, it's like, great, on to the next one. There's a lot of wasted time and energy that goes into that kind of thinking. Likewise, word of mouth is actually the best way and the easiest way to find a customer. And so if you're trying to focus on all of the traditional marketing strategies, Google, review sites, advertising, social media, you're missing out on probably the easiest and best trusted source of new leads, and that's personal connections. So we're going to help you figure out how to make yourself as recommendable as possible by the people that already know and love you. Again, if you have questions, by all means, go into the chat function today and you can go right in and type that out. I'm not going to take questions unless there's an urgent one. And Jesse, if you do happen to see an urgent one in chat, just raise it up to me during the talk today. But otherwise, let's focus on getting through, and then I'll take questions at the end. So let's talk about the funnel. The funnel is the quintessential metaphor in marketing. Our job in marketing is to fill up our marketing funnel as much as humanly possible. And you know that if you can broadcast to as many people as possible, a few of those people will respond to our first engagement. And then we're going to try and convert those few people into an even smaller space into customers. And so our old goal was just to get as many leads as possible and let the numbers take care of it. And now we're really trying to focus less on marketing as a funnel and more as an entire workflow, as a engagement, as a life cycle. So as we move from strangers to visitors, which is what traditional marketing focuses on most inside of that funnel, we're having a blog, we're focusing on keywords and social. And then once we get those visitors on our website or responding to our emails, we're moving them into leads by having them fill out forms, responding to calls to action, maybe activating a shopping cart and adding things to their cart where we've got a lead now. And then we're trying to move them into close via the CRM, email, and workflows. If someone abandons their shopping cart or if they walk out of the store without purchasing, how do you keep connecting to those folks? And then, of course, once they are customers, really where a big chunk of the flywheel focuses is moving from customers to promoters. So finding out what our customers love about us via surveys, focusing on smart content that gives our customers more of what we know they're asking for based on their activity and what they're doing with us, and then social monitoring to figure out who they are and what they do. The idea of all of this workflow is to keep re-engaging and moving people from promoters to engaging new strangers to draw through the list and to keep growing. And so you can kind of see how this might start up as a funnel and then end into a flywheel. You can actually think of the funnel as just the first step in the flywheel, where the funnel is going to fill up under attract, and then everything else that we do is designed to keep engaging and bringing those folks back for more. There are some drawbacks to the funnel. I've mentioned a few of them already, but focusing on marketers or focusing on our customers as a one and done engagement is a pretty big no-no inside of making your customers feel like you trust them and that you care about them. So if someone purchases and then you hit them right up with something that's almost identical in deal or offer, or you never talk to them again, that doesn't send a great signal that you value their business. Repeat business is far easier to win than first off business. As a matter of fact, it's about 10 times easier to get a existing customer to buy something more from you than it is to capture and convert a new customer. And word of mouth often drives more referrals. And that, of course, is going to drive more sales. If you get a recommendation, and recommendations don't have to be personal recommendations, it could just be reviews in Google Reviews or on Facebook, or it might be a forwarded email that a customer has found and shared with someone they care about. And all of that is going to help move this from a one and done, because with a funnel, if you dump water in the top, the funnel is going to go through and it's going to dump out that water onto the floor and then it's gone. But instead, let's focus on bringing the customers back for more and to encourage them to share more. Again, if there are any questions, would love to see those, and you can do that via the chat function. So what about the funnel versus the marketing flywheel? As we look at what you do for marketing as a one and done kind of an interaction, the flywheel is a different model to bring more customers in. So if the funnel treats customers almost as an afterthought, you have a lot of marketing and then it moves to fewer conversions into sales. And then those sales convert some of those interactions into customers. The flywheel puts the customers at the center of all of your connections. So you're going to engage them with marketing, of course, and then connect them with sales, but then you're also going to feed them by serving them more of what they're looking for. And there's additional methods and methodology inside of this, and I'm going to cover that in a moment. So as you look at the flywheel model and the idea of always asking and engaging our customers for more connections, this is how it's going to work for you. If you're looking at flywheels as a way to grow your business, you want to first attract to that customer, as in orange, and then you want to engage them to bring in more business, to get them to buy again, or just to interact and build a relationship with you. And then everything that you do from there should be designed to delight and then ask for more business to attract more business and engage. And if you get that flywheel spinning, it's going to result in growth. This is how this works in real life. A customer retention is more critical to your company's success than simple acquisition. If you're focusing on how you can be more effective with every marketing or sales dollar, delighting your existing customers and asking them to help can be a huge way to grow that business. In fact, a 5% increase in customer retention can increase company revenue by 25% to 95%. All of the marketing budget that you would spend just trying to engage more customers. Again, it's 10 times harder to get a new customer than it is to engage an existing customer. And so bringing that connection and bringing those folks back in to have them help you can be much, much more efficient and result in delighted customers versus simply having a single one and done and feeling like a number as a customer. There's a business that does this pretty well. And if you've checked out Jim Collins's Turning the Flywheel, a brand new compendium book that he put out just a couple of months ago, he talks about Amazon as one of the quintessential ways or one of the quintessential companies that is focused on Flywheel as an engaging method for growing business. In Amazon's case, they wanted to focus on expanding. And so they started with customer visits, right? So they increased those customer visits, and by increasing customer visits, it attracted third-party sellers. Third-party sellers expanded the store and extended the distribution, made that connection wider for the customers. And then they were able to grow revenue with fixed costs at Amazon by taking some of the savings that they gathered from not having to source new business at every turn and turn that into lower prices on more offerings, which in turn increases customer visits. This is how Amazon has grown into a multi-billion-dollar, trillion-dollar company. And this is how you can grow your business by just feeding every method and every model. In this case, I'm focusing mostly on marketing, and Amazon takes the flywheel to the extreme with operations, with buying power, and with every interaction they have. Everything that they do is designed to help grow more further down the road. And so you need to think about that as a marketing process for your business. So what is a flywheel? First, of course, it's a new model for business growth. We're not thinking of our customers as one and done. We're thinking of them as partners with us that we're going to ask and incentivize to help us keep growing. We're moving from strangers to prospects to customers and then promoters over the process of attracting our customers, engaging with them, and then, of course, delighting them. As we move from the outside in, then we're going to focus on marketing, of course, but marketing engages with sales, sales engages with service, and then we connect and we ask for more via our marketing and our connections. So that's where having a great CRM can be the goal and the basis of everything else that we do. In order to engage with our customers, we need to know who they are, and we need to be able to automate and connect with what they're most interested in and give them more of that. Our goal is to create momentum in our marketing. And so how do you create that momentum and keep people going and engaging and growing more? Well, everything that we've talked about, of course, but you need to start thinking about how the flywheel as a metaphor actually works. There are three inputs to every flywheel. First, it's how fast that flywheel spins. This is how much marketing you're doing, how much interaction, how many customer touch points you have, and how quickly you can turn that content in and how fluid it feels to the interaction. You need to think about the friction in your process. Anything that slows down your flywheel or anything that frustrates your customer is going to make a massive barrier to having them refer you. And then how much mass or activity you have, how many things you're doing at once, how many interactions, how ubiquitous you feel in your interactions and in your marketing, and how easy it seems to interact with you. I'm going to go deeper into these in a moment, but the flywheel goes all the way back to James Watts and before the steam days. It's really the one thing that allowed machines to harness and keep growing and building their energy. And so as you look back at this, if you think about the physical flywheel, anything that would stop it, if your flywheel stops, all of your marketing stops. And so you need to keep engaging and you need to keep growing and working on anything that's going to keep that flywheel spinning, give it more mass or rotational momentum, and of course, spin it up as much as possible. So as we look at who your flywheel should be, it's going to be customers who will happily drive you new business, people that you can delight and engage by making dedicated connections to folks that matter most. So who are your best customers? First, any customer is really a great customer. If you have customers that are frustrated or that didn't have a great connection or maybe are not perfect customers for you, you need to figure out how to direct those folks into more productive channels for you, maybe by fixing the problems, that's the friction part, or by targeting for other folks. In BizzyWeb's example, in my business, for folks that don't exactly meet my target market, I have a few trusted partners that fill, for brand new startups or for companies that are in industries that I don't serve. I have great partners that I can hand off, and that in turn allows me to focus on what I do best and make sure that I'm absolutely delighting every customer that I interact with in my chosen field. Funnels are just one part of the lead generation process. This is the part that brings in new business. So everything that we do on that 1/10 as easy scale, the stuff that we do to engage our new customers, those social media posts, the emails, the advertising, the search engine optimization, and even some of the inbounds, anything that's designed to attract new customers is just one part. And then we need to always add ways to delight and re-engage our customers. This is really where most companies are not focusing enough. You need to think about, well, what do my customers need if they're going to do something else with me? Or if they're going to recommend me? How can I make it as easy as possible for those businesses and those engagements, those customers, to want to do and share more? So there's a lot of tools that we can use to engage. There's a bunch of attract tools, engage tools, and of course, delight tools. I'm going to go through all of these in detail, or at least in a little bit more detail, so I'm not going to go over it too much right here. But if you think about your marketing as an entire ecosystem designed to continually engage your customers and bring more folks into the fold by encouraging your existing customers to bring more, that's going to be a huge help. So if I'm looking to attract more customers, of course, this is our traditional marketing channel. So advertisements, connecting, targeted ads at our existing customers, using lookalike channels or lookalike advertisements in Facebook, for example. Anyone that looks like our existing customer list, giving them things that we know that they love. Videos, sharing things about your organization, maybe members-only content or other stuff designed to tell more of the story or make a deeper personal connection with your customers can be very engaging. Of course, blogging, sharing some of your story behind the scenes. And a lot of SEO blogging misses this point. If you're simply trying to get as many keywords out as possible in the hopes that someone's going to search for you and you're going to engage, that's definitely valuable. But blogging and sharing your story and how you can re-engage and do a little bit more. So if customer A is engaging with you on product A, figuring out how you can encourage them or ask them about product B and how that can help grow. So giving them more, sharing more of your story, giving them more options to engage, and certainly giving them the story. A members only club where if you recommend a customer to us, we'll give you some other premium. I'm usually not a big fan of discounts for anything that you do, but giving them something more instead of offering a discount. So if you bring us a customer, we'll give you half off your next order. Maybe not giving them half off their next order and instead giving them something else that'll be an even bigger boon. You can see a lot of this in some of the interactions with like the large podcasters out there. Folks that have members only clubs or that allow folks that are premium members to get closer access to the podcaster, especially for some of the big names, the Chris Brogans, the Tim Ferrisses, those folks that are out there and doing just a heck of a job and really have an engaged audience, giving them more of what your customer is asking for can be a big incentive to have that customer help you. Social media, again, you want to focus not less on engaging and finding new customers because that's part of attracting, but also making sure that those social media engagements are designed to deepen relationships instead of just grab new. If you ignore your customer after they've signed on with you and you solely focus on getting new customers, that's sending a negative, it's sending a friction point to your customers where it feels like they're not as relevant or valued by you as a business. And so having all of that built into a solid content strategy that not only attracts, but also continues to engage can help, which of course does lead us to engage. Your engage tools are where you start focusing on process in connecting with your customers once they've become customers. The really cool part about engage tools and engaging with your customers after they've already said something to you is as soon as they've engaged, as soon as you've converted them, they've clicked something, they've visited your website, or they've become customers, you know more about that person. So you no longer have to be as broad and as general as possible in your engagement. You can instead focus on giving them what they're asking for. You know their name, you know where they are, you probably know, you definitely know what products they've engaged with, and so you know what people that engage with that product are most likely to ask for. So you can start building lead flows to give that person something else. If they download a white paper on your website, for example, there are a number of other questions that people that download that white paper might ask. And so giving them via an automated tool the opportunity to download additional content, to offer them handy tips and tidbits, if knowing what you know about them is going to be much more engaging. Email marketing is a fantastic way to lean on this, and you need to have a real email marketing program in order to do this. I recommend Constant Contact or HubSpot. MailChimp is great if you have a limited budget, although they're changing a bunch of their stuff. So if you had a free MailChimp engagement before, be sure to check with your account because things are going to start changing very soon. The email that you send needs to be designed as an engagement tool, not as a spam tool. Any email that you send that isn't targeted to the specific user's need is annoying. It's spam. You fill up your inbox and you don't want any of that engagement. So your job in email is to send people more of what they're actually asking for. And so give them, if they've clicked on a specific kind of tool, give them more of that, or give them something that complements it. You can almost think of this, and Amazon is a great example. Customers who purchase this item often also purchase X, Y, and Z, right? So using some of your connections in the ways that you know you've interacted with your customers in the past can be a very easy way to give them more opportunities to connect and re-engage. Managing your leads, especially if you're in a B2B business, is going to be a huge help. You know when people are visiting your website if you have a good management tool. Again, my favorite is HubSpot. There's a number of them out there. There's Marketo, there's Infusionsoft, there's a whole bundle of them under the sun. HubSpot is one of the big force leaders in the space, which is why I decided to align my business with them. They just do a great job at this stuff. Conversational bots, giving people the opportunity to just chat in real plain text and to give them opportunities to ask real questions. And then automating that marketing. So once people do respond to that email, or once people visit that specific page on your website and you already know who they are, give them more of what they're asking for and make it into a helper. You're almost like a concierge service that gives them more of what they need depending on what they're doing with you. Which leads me to delight tools. You can focus really heavily on delighting your customers with smart content, things that are designed to, if you needed this piece of information, you might also be interested in X. Or if a customer opens an email, they convert, but then they don't do anything with it, they're sending you a negative signal. So broadening out your connection and giving them something that they might also be interested in. You need to be careful with smart content so you don't over inundate your customers with smart content. If a customer tells you no, offer them an alternative, but then if they keep telling you no, read the room and disengage. Maybe keep them on your quarterly newsletter unless they completely unsubscribe. One of the worst things you can do, and one of the biggest cardinal sins in marketing, is to keep connecting after you've been told no. So respect that. and give them something inside of that content. Again, email marketing is a huge underpinner of all of this. You can have conversations inside of your connections. HubSpot makes this super easy inside of the conversations inbox. And you can do attribution reporting. So people that are specific kinds of people. So you can break your customers down into different sales or marketing personas. Idealize the 2 or 3 different kinds of customers that you most have and figure out what makes them tick, what they're looking for, and how you can help them more and what's going to make them refer more of them to you. Via that reporting, you can drill down a little bit more and you'll probably find out some new things that you didn't even know. And so through that attribution reporting, again, super easy inside of a dedicated system, you can click, drill down, and find out new things that maybe this person is not the C-suite marketer in the organizations that you're targeting, but maybe they're more line level. Maybe they're more or less senior than you thought. Maybe they have additional roles inside of their organization. So asking for some of that can be huge. And again, automating that marketing to do some of this automatically and not focus or make you have to send all of this stuff out by hand is what makes it feel organic and helps you connect without spamming and instead letting them walk down the path of their choosing and you being the helpful connection, the additional resource for them to guide them on their path in being successful in whatever they do in their jobs. So I want to take a pause and just stop and start my video up again and just ask if there are any specific questions that folks have inside of this. Again, you can go into the chat tool and ask specific questions. And Jamie, I don't know if you have any questions yet, but I did want to set that aside for a moment as we're at a little over the halfway point. And so this is a perfect break spot before we get into measuring your flywheel. Perfect. Well, seeing none, I'm going to power through and then we'll take questions again at the end. And I believe we'll even open it up to general questions if you just want to chat out the conversation. So let's talk through how you can measure your flywheel and figure out if the interactions, if the attract, engage, delight wheel is actually working for you. When you're looking through each of the ways that you connect, you need to break down each of those sections into their requisite parts. So for attract, you need, of course, to provide value before you extract value. So figure out how you're doing that specifically inside of the attract phase. And in engage, you want to make it easy to shop and buy, remove all of the friction points. And then in delight, focus on customer success as your success. And I'm going to break this down and I'm going to actually give you a nice screenshotable window in a second. So if you do, it's Control Print Screen in Windows or Command Shift 4 in Macs. But here's what you can do. Fill this out for your business. I provide value to my prospects by, under the attract phase, and then answer some of those questions. In my case, it's by answering marketing questions, providing helpful tips and tricks. I make it easy for prospects to buy by offering ways to connect, simplifying the sales process, removing roadblocks. Again, your make it easier is different for your business than it is for mine. And then under delight, I make my customers successful by adding more value, solving problems, going deeper, anticipating issues that they might need. So for your business, how do you answer these questions? How do you provide value? How do you make it easier for them to buy? And how do you make customers successful and therefore more likely to recommend? The forces on your flywheel are anything that affects each of these sections. So under attract, you need to focus on how can you earn more attention without forcing it. This is, again, your traditional marketing channel. So having an overly aggressive SEO campaign that lists your keywords 17 times on your homepage doesn't necessarily jive with deepening an engagement with your customers. So earn that attention by being helpful, but don't force it. Useful content that's worth their time is the best way to attract your customers. Engage, you want to build relationships with your customers versus just closing deals. And of course, you do want to close deals, but that shouldn't feel like the only thing that you're trying to do. And so focus on customer successes versus simple sales. Once you know what your customer does and why they're purchasing your product, give them additional help, give them tips, give them tricks, connect them with a community, tell them, and have maybe video series to tell them, our most successful customers are using this product this way. Or here's some insider tips that we know because we work here every day. So figure out how you can make them more successful. And then delight, you want to remove friction in the customer experience. If you ask people too often or too deeply for their information, that's going to be a turnoff point. And so make sure that you're offering additional help and experience and not maybe overdoing that connection. So maybe your contact us page doesn't have a serviceable link. Maybe the form is 17 questions long when people want to connect with you. Maybe the share button that you have on your website goes to the wrong spot. You'd be amazed at how many websites I see from my customers or in our prospecting that the share button goes to nothing. It just goes to the Facebook page. And so you want to make sure that with everything that you do, you over-deliver on that delight and you solve your customers' problems. That's why they're working with you in the first place. So make sure that you give them everything that they need to be successful in their jobs and then allow them the opportunity to recommend you in things. So how do you maximize delight? This is a picture of my daughter. The best way to delight a 13-year-old is to give her access to a horse. So we have her in a horse camp. And so this is a fantastic way to delight this particular kind of customer. Think about how you can better serve your customer. What do you do for your customer that they're looking for additional help with? What else can you do to connect? If you're a marketing agency, they're looking for help with driving additional traffic, but how about keeping more traffic coming in, which is why I do talks like this. What other problems can you solve? If you have additional connections or additional partners, what are those other partnerships that you can engage with to keep being more and more helpful and thereby be the person that they think of whenever they're ready to recommend your kind of business to their friends and contemporaries in that field? And then identify those forces on your flywheel. Every business has its own set of forces, and those are, again, things that either drive the flywheel forward or slow it down. And so your forces are going to be different for every business, and I've focused on 3 that are semi-universal. So first, for marketing, your force for marketing to drive in new attract content. Maybe your business isn't answering customer questions. So you have an FAQ, or maybe you get the same kind of question and you're getting sick of asking it. Or answering it. So maybe adding frequently asked questions or streamlining the Q&A process with a chat bot on the website so that they can just connect and interact with that customer or with you on the fly. Sales, very typical force that either overdoes it aggressively or feels kind of hands off, or like a customer is an output. If you have commissions based only on new revenue in your sales process, that's probably going to result in the salesperson saying, "Thank you next," when they land a sale, instead of "Thank you, how else can I help?" So adding compensation for repeat sales can actively engage more of those flywheel forces to keep more sales coming in. And then service is usually a big thing for all businesses. So maybe customers are having problems renewing your particular product or service. Maybe your product is a durable good and has a tendency to wear out. Well, what happens after it wears out? Maybe connect with them right before that product on average is going to wear out or before they're going to have connections. In my case, one of the big things that BizzyWeb does is web design, and websites are fantastic for the first couple of months after launch. And then the market keeps growing and the needs of customers keep changing. And so that website keeps getting less and less relevant. New neato technology comes up and the websites start aging. So we keep our customers growing by continually redesigning our customers' websites over a process called growth-driven design. If your customers are having problems with renewing in particular, maybe streamlining your landing pages to offer additional help. Again, on the back end of our websites, we have tutorials built right in, because one of the things that we've found in our business is that folks that are engaging and that are doing marketing via their website, it's confusing to have to update a website. And I don't care what kind of tool you're using. We use WordPress as a general rule. It tends to be pretty easy. But if it's not your job to interact with WordPress on a daily basis, it can be pretty tough. So we have 30-second to 1-minute videos built into the back end of the website. All you need to know is what you're looking for and browse the library to get everything that you need to complete your next step. So those are the forces. Now let's talk about reducing friction. Anything that slows down the opportunity for you to grow business and or would stop your customer either from buying again or from recommending is a friction point. So you need to identify your points of friction. Where are your customers getting turned off? Where do they feel like they're just a number? Or where is it harder than it needs to be to refer a customer or to refer someone else, or for them to do business with you again? Inside of that, you can probably automate a number of things. This is an example of a re-engagement automation workflow that's built right into our HubSpot tools. In this case, an enrollment trigger is that they've connected with us, and then either they do or they don't reopen that connection. If they don't open that email that we sent them, we create a task for a salesperson to follow up with them. We delay for a couple of days, and then if we aren't able to connect with them, we give them additional help and information via a separate connection. If they do connect, then we give it out to the salesperson to connect with them, right? So adjusting via shared goals, or maybe even adjustments to your team. Sometimes people simply don't have the capacity to engage at the way that you need to if you're trying to re-engage customers. Outside sales folks aren't generally known for being overly service-oriented. They need to keep moving. And so passing that connection off to a project manager inside of a B2B business might be a great way to continually re-engage by having someone with the job of explicitly reconnecting with that person. So again, if you wanted to, you could take a screenshot of this and then fill it out on your own. We can also send out this deck, and I'm going to give you a link actually at the bottom of every slide, BizzyWeb.com/flywheel. If you fill out that form, you'll get this entire slide deck that includes these slides and the templates for filling out and figuring out your friction. But in our case, say for example, your support ticket response is slow at your business. If you're a B2B business, maybe an IT service provider, support tickets are slowing down. Well, maybe you just need to automate to give them a immediate response and say, we are going to get back to you within, and then make sure that you meet that within goal. Within 30 minutes, you should probably have someone call within 30 minutes, right? And then automating that so that a tool is actively helping and you're not just responding or relying on one person to keep doing and engaging at that level. You might have missed customer touch points. Perhaps you're not connecting with them enough. You've engaged with that customer, they've purchased from you, they've engaged you with your service, but then it feels like you never talk to them again. Well, you can automate to get them into a workflow, or you can set a new goal to re-engage that customer once a quarter, once every half year, or once every year, whatever makes sense for your business. And then if you're a B2C company, maybe you have a lot of abandoned carts at checkout. Well, in that case, maybe setting a new goal and or reorganizing the structure of your business or of those pages to make sure that, maybe you shouldn't be requiring a customer login right away. Maybe you should let them check out as a guest first. And then once they experience working with you, once they buy something, then engage with them and ask them if they'd like to join your members only club, right? So asking too early for too much information can be a big stopping point inside of a lot of flywheels. So let's wrap up. First, funnels as a general rule are limited as a response product. If you have something that you do on a general basis and your job as a marketer in your business is just to get as many people in front of as many people as possible, and then, grab them all and let God sort out the rest, that's probably a bad structure if that's all you do. Again, that's part of the marketing flywheel. And to grow your business, you definitely need to engage your customers, but it's not the only thing you need to do. So focus on your flywheel to grow your business. You need to attract, you need to engage, and you need to delight your customers. Your job is to continually grow your business by deepening your relationships with the people that matter most to you. And of course, those are your customers, and you can let them buy more from you, of course, but then also give them easy touch points and be as useful and as helpful as possible to make yourself as recommendable as possible. And then identify ways to make it easy to do that. Click this button to share with a friend. Buy one, get one, buy one, give one away, whatever that is for your customer, and figure out new ways to keep attracting, engaging, and delighting your customers and keep the business coming back to you instead of just ignoring that customer after the first purchase. And finally, you need to work on reducing your friction points in order to keep growing. The interesting thing about a flywheel is that everything revolves around the hub. And as we saw before, the CRM is really that central hub in orange for us, and what everything rotates around is the customer relationship management system. We need to know who our customers are in order to keep interacting with them. So if you don't have a CRM in your business, HubSpot actually has a free CRM, and I can give you the link to that if you would like. You can also just go to HubSpot.com and look at it. But if you'd like that information, you can go through it. This can seem a little heavy. And so if you have the need, or if this spoke to you, if you'd like to have another conversation and get a little deeper, especially on how your business is interacting and connecting, maybe walk through those friction points or the different ways that you can interact and engage. If you go to BizzyWeb.com/flywheel, I will call you and we'll walk through your business's flywheel, and I'll give you some ideas on how to continue to grow. Again, that's pretty much what we've got. If you go to BizzyWeb.com/flywheel and request the slides through that form as well, we'll send you a PDF of this deck, which will have the contents that you can use to help brainstorm through if you're more of a DIY kind of person. But again, of course, if you'd like to chat with me, you can get a hold of me right here. And I'd like to now open it up to Q&A. So I am going to turn my camera back on. And again, if you go into chat, I'm actually going to go ahead and type a chat message. Or if you just unmute yourself, you can by all means go ahead and ask away, and I'll do what I can to help. Excellent. Well, yes. Hello.
Sorry, this is Jessie again. I just wanted to let everybody know they are unmuted. So if you have a question, feel free to ask.
If you're more of a talker than a typer, here we are. Well, as we wait for folks to think up ideas or questions, I will say this is going to be recorded and republished. So if you sat through the recording here and do have specific questions, you can go to the /flywheel. You can also send me an email at dave@bizzyweb.com, or if you submit a question right through the team at Grow Nebraska, we'd love to help. So by all means, that's how you can get a hold of us. And Jessie, again, thank you so much for the connection and the opportunity to work with y'all, because it's been amazing. I'm going to see you all hopefully again in April for the big Grow Nebraska conference. And so I believe we're already working on the engagement levers to get Google back out there. And so I will definitely, hopefully, see you out there again in a couple of months.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Dave. It was all really great information. My contact info was on the screen prior. I'll go back here. Jesse at grownebraska.org. So if you have any questions for Dave after this, again, he shared his email address with you, but mine's there as well, and I can always pass things along to him also. If you think of any questions or need help with anything, please, please, please reach out. We're more than willing to help you. And then again, mark your calendars for next month's T3. Dr. Kristen Malik does have this awesome presentation on maximizing your marketing utilizing behavioral science. So it's going to be really cool. Registration is open. You can register at www.grownebraska.org/trainings. And that's all for today. So if you guys have any questions, please, again, reach out. So thank you for joining the Grow Nebraska Foundation on this month's third Thursday training. Another shout out to Dave Meyer with BizzyWeb in Minnesota for being today's presenter.
Thank you all.
We hope you all have a great day. Thanks, guys.